What's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. Back like we ain't never left, baby. So, what the hell is all this NASCAR shit I'm seeing? Here I am, trying to see what's going on in politics, and all I keep getting hammered with all day yesterday was NASCAR. So apparently, there's some people within NASCAR that aren't too happy with some of the politics that are happening revolving around NASCAR, and some people want to step away. Some people are supportive of it. Obviously, this is part of the wave that Black Lives Matter has created. There's been ripple effects. Look, Black Lives Matter at one point was a very movement. It was pretty horrible, to say the least. I remember when Bernie was running the first time around, Black Lives Matter crashed one of his rallies and were making demands. And I'm like, out of all the people running right now, Bernie's not the one to go to be pouting. If anything, he's going to do things that are in your favor. And then he was trying to interview them and they were being incoherent, and it was a mess. But now, with the death of George Floyd and the pot bubbling over, there's been waves and there's been ripple effects. And it's been touching different aspects of reality, different aspects of life. Things have been making small changes. Even Amazon is saying we stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and all their products and stuff like that. It's been quite interesting watching these things take place. And it hasn't died down. Usually after a week, things start to die down. Things start to quiet down in the media. It's not sexy anymore. It's not a hot topic. But it's literally took over all of media and all of the airwaves, and it's what they're talking about along with COVID. So it even touched NASCAR. So what exactly is happening? Let's get into it. So NASCAR drivers came together to produce an anti-racism message that expressly referenced the killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and it was a strong unifying statement from a fraternity of athletes that has historically remained silent or stood on the wrong side of societal issues. So renowned NASCAR drivers and affiliates have come together and say, look, you killed Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and this shit has got to stop. This shit has got to stop. There's people that Candace Owens, even some people on Twitter I've gone back and forth with, which I don't know why I waste my time, trolls. But despite the history of George Floyd, despite what you may think or not think about him, he was the tipping point. He was the final factor to create this wave. Because it shows, regardless of his past, seeing a man beg for his mother and plead for his life on the ground affected everyone. Hell, it even affected crazy far right-wingers that were like, this is a bit much. When Pat Robinson can't be on Trump's side and he's like, no, this is just wrong. When you got Pat Robinson saying, no, this is too much, then we've hit the tipping point. The scales have tipped. All right? Even NASCAR drivers who tend to stay neutral on these situations have come out saying, all right, this is going to be a bit much. So Bubba Wallace, NASCAR's lone African-American driver at the top-tier Cup Series level, joined fellow driver Ty Dillon and they had a riveting conversation about race on Instagram. And he donned an I Can't Breathe shirt at the last two events, and he piloted a car with a Black Lives Matter livery on Wednesday night. Okay? So NASCAR has gone out of their way to ban Confederate flags. Now, as some of you in the comments section are already aware, not everybody's okay with the banning of Confederate flags. And I've seen tons and tons of mental gymnastics. I've seen tons of opinions on the matter. It's history. It represents history to me. Yeah, it represents an ugly side of history. I mean, it happened, you know? I will admit that it happened, and, ignoring it would be a mistake. I 100% agree. It is a part of the American history. It's a part of America's history. If we're going to be honest, America has a really dark, dark history. Not all of it should be embraced. Not all of it should be forgotten, but definitely not all of it should be embraced. And, I can respect NASCAR's decision. So what NASCAR is aiming for is, in a statement I saw, NASCAR wants to be a cool, loving, unifying community between fans of different races, colors, and origins. I want to say that one more time. What NASCAR wants to be is a cool, loving, unifying community between fans of different races, colors, and origins. That's what any sporting event, that's what any sport should be. If you're of a sport and you're of a different mindset than that, then you are going to fail. Over and over again. But of course, there's some people that, aren't with it. There's some people that don't like this idea of NASCAR getting rid of the Confederate flags and things like that. So there's a person, Jason Beam, and his Twitter is @BeamDesigns, and he creates custom painted helmets for the motorsports industry, including NASCAR drivers. Well, he's against this. He's against it, and he's been shouting loudly about it. So let me read you some of what Mr. Jason Beam has said. You can't erase history by picking and choosing what parts you want to keep and don't want to keep. It doesn't change what happened. Slavery was abolished in 1865, 155 years ago. Why are we using a flag from 155 years ago to justify support for equality today? He goes on to say the Confederate flag, North versus South in the Civil War, a war over separation of the Union, not slavery. But hey, ignorance wins again. NASCAR, you realize the North had slaves too? LOL. Not just the South? You want to remove the American flag as well? Idiots. He's tight. He's not happy about this. Let's go on. So, he's been, shouting his disapproval on Twitter, and it's his right to shout his disapproval on Twitter. That's fine. But you also need to understand that with almost any job, what you do on social media reflects on the job you are with. A lot of jobs have you sign paperwork when you're, getting hired, saying that, what you do online represents the company, and, your social media presence reflects badly on the company, they can let you go. And with almost any job, if you do something out here in life that makes the company or place you work for look bad, they can and will let you go. So he's treading on thin waters here, right? But he continues on. So Um, Bubba Wallace. Uh, I think I told you I think I said before he's going to run a special paint scheme to honor Black Lives Matter, and he was doing this for Wednesday night's race. So, if you saw the last tweets from Jason Beam, and you're like, he sounds like he's being kind of logical. Like he doesn't seem like he's just trying to use historical facts. That's all. Okay, well, Bubba Wallace got his car painted for Black Lives Matter, right? And then Jason Beam commented that his shit was garbage and gave a big thumbs down. So Jason Beam's allowed to have his own opinion on taking the Confederate flag down. But then Bubba Wallace wants to stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, which doesn't affect Jason Beam at all, right? It doesn't affect him at all. And so Bubba Wallace put out, the design to his car in support of hashtag Black Lives Matter. It got tons of love, 26,000 likes, 5,000 retweets, over 1,600 comments. Everybody was loving it. And then Jason Beam commented garbage and gave thumbs down. He called what he was doing and his design garbage. All right, so now you're starting to really show your stripes, right? Let me just remind you that Bubba is African American. All right? This probably means a shit ton to him. And so his choice to stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, and you call his shit garbage, B. So Jason then goes on to say, sad day in racing, watching NASCAR put their drivers and teams and their sport in the political spotlight of racism, as if racism is only political. Yeah, racism only exists when it interacts with politicism. So then Jason Beam then goes on to try to strut his shit, right? He goes, nice try. Check back tomorrow, next week, and the week after. I will be posting pics of more new helmets we are working on for Jimmy Johnson and many others. They don't let opinions get under their skin. Hashtag be better. Hashtag be better. Right? So he's talking shit. He's like, fuck Bubba Wallace. I got these people. I'm going to do a whole bunch of designs for it because fuck Black Lives Matter. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson, he's like, yeah, no. Due to recent posts on social media, I've decided to end my relationship with Beam Designs. So Jason Beam's talking big shit like fuck Bubba Wallace and you're standing in solidarity, Black Lives Matter. I got Jimmy Johnson on my side. Jimmy Johnson's like, nah, I don't like what you're posting. I'm gonna end this relationship. So the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. Hilarious. And so Bubba Wallace reached out to Jason. He said, nah, homie, as a person I've done business with in the past and always respected the work you've done for ones in the industry, you made it clear of where you stand in today's matter. All respect lost for you, dog. I mean, at this point, if you don't get it, at this point, you're swinging blindly. This has sent a shockwave. It sent a ripple effect throughout everywhere. And so, all you've seen is people, dropping from working with this Jason Beam person. But let me just say, I don't think NASCAR was racist or had racist ties. I really don't. I wanna put this out there in the atmosphere, in the stratosphere for everybody to know, because there's a lot of people that they come to the conclusion, a lot of black people don't do don't do NASCAR, and they see the Confederate flags. Let me give you some tidbits. I'm gonna give you a little bit of facts about NASCAR. Okay, so stock car racing is a direct descendant of moonshine running. or those attempting to elude the Ku Klux Klan's law dogs during Prohibition. I'm going to repeat that for you. Stock racing is a direct descendant of moonshine running, or those attempting to... Okay, all right. Yeah, so the audio that I had and the video that I had became corrupted, and I noticed during editing. So here I am, hours upon hours later. Yeah, I don't know how things like that happen. I was on a roll too. I was on a roll describing some cool NASCAR shit. But the files became corrupted, and I apologize. It's what happens in this field. It happens sometime. It's part of what happens when you're a YouTube creator, when you're a political commentator. I'm sure there's been plenty of other times other creators have stumbled across this issue, random corruption, and I ain't talking about the Democrats. Woo! No. So yeah. What I was gonna say before I was cut off by the incredible static and bad audio that I had on my video. I was going to say that stock car racing is a direct descendant of moonshine running, and attempting to elude the Ku Klux Klan's law dogs during Prohibition was also an integral part of stock car racing. I was going to say that Junior Johnson publicly endorsed Barack Obama in 2008. Dale Earnhardt Sr. Ripped the Confederate flag off of his car once people spoke to him and he found out just how it affected people. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. was against Trump's travel ban in 2017. So, look, NASCAR still has a ways to go. I think it's incrementalism, but they're on the right track. And, yeah, it's not just boiling in racism and Confederacy and stuff like that. And I think they took a brave step. Not everyone's on board with that step, but oh well, they're going to have to get with the times. So, yeah, just figured I'd wrap that up. Sorry about the audio issues and stuff like that. You probably noticed it a little bit towards the end of what I was talking about. Probably a staticky hum or something like that in the background. Don't know what that was. It's happened to me before. It's rare, but it happens. If you've been following the channel for a while, you've probably seen or stumbled across that before as well. So, that being said, I'm going to close up this staticky video and let you guys be on your way. So, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. I have a Cash App, a PayPal, a Venmo, and a Patreon. Links are in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Every little bit helps. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Stay safe. Peace.
Sometimes I'm feeling high, but sometimes I'm feeling low. I wanna stay inside, I could call my bed my home. I've been trapped inside my mind, that's what keeps me in the zone. I think that I'll be fine, but I do not really know, yeah. It's too late for me, not too late for you to be great, you see. The pain's worth the truth. I don't wanna be just someone that's new. I speak my mind so free, so you could hear the truth. Yeah, I know that we all have fear. In the back of our minds we hear the devil that's in our ear. let it push you to see more clear. I don't wanna think about the pain no more. Everybody's not the same, we all open different doors. Yeah, we've all got different brains, that's what keeps starting these wars. I just stay within my lane, hope my words even score. I just try to keep it real.